Hello, hello, hello. Hi there, gang. Welcome to the 30. This is your host, Patrick Jackman. And I want to thank you for being here on another Thursday evening. Well, whether you are in New York State, wherever you are across the world, it may be morning where you are, or it may be night. Welcome to the 30. We do this each week where we focus and where I have a chat with leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners. So I just want to welcome you once again. This is brought to you by the Jackman Group LLC. We are the producers of the 30, and it is a pleasure to bring this to you each and every Thursday. Do me a huge favor. Go ahead and like and share the broadcast. If this is your first time viewing us, we stream live to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube each Thursday. Go ahead and like it and also share the broadcast with those that are in your community. Tonight, we have a very, very special night. We call this, there's clothing and then there's custom clothing. We have two young men, I would say, a father and son from right here where we are in Rochester, New York. And they are going to be talking about custom clothing. Not a type of clothing that I have in terms of the shirt, but I'm sure if I'm nice to them, maybe they'll throw me a bone and give me a custom shirt or something. But anyhow, stick around. Make sure that you are here. They're going to talk about Adrian Jules custom clothing. Let's get this party started. Hi there again, gang. Again, we are talking about clothing. There's clothing, and then there's custom clothing. So tonight, I have the privilege and honor of chatting not only with leaders in our community, but business owners and leaders, two members of the family of Adrian Jules, the Roberti family from here in Rochester. And we're going to talk about custom clothing. So you want to make sure that you share this, touch base with someone, call them up or send them a notice, send them a message and says, tune in to the 30. I am going to bring them right in now. I'm talking about Peter and Peter, Peter E and Peter A. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the 30.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
All right. So we are just going to get it started. I'm not going to waste any time because we have about 25 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. So let's talk about custom clothing. I'm excited. You guys look sharp. I had to pull out one of my shirts. Oh my gosh, this is great. This is great. And I want to thank Bill Carnes, and he set this up. So I got to give him a shout out, and I know he's working with you guys. So Adrian Jules, talk about Adrian Jules. I've seen, I've heard, I've never experienced wearing one of your suits yet or shirts, but you've been in the community for a very long time. Peter, I'm going to start with the gentleman first and then the son after. So Peter.
Yes. So we've been in business 57 years, and my dad started a company, and I got into the business. The only other job I had was a paper route, and in the paper route, it teaches you a lot about, customer service and taking care of your clients. And that's what we try to do at Adrian Jules. And it's really, the clothing is a big part of it, but it's the experience of how you get the clothing and how we come up with the proper fabrics and the proper fit for your clothing and what you want your clothing to say about you. Because no matter what, before you open your mouth, the first thing people think and look at you is your clothing. They make decisions about if you're trustworthy, if you're ethical, your socioeconomics, everything. There's like 10 different things that they think about and is said about the way you wear your clothes and how you're perceived by people. So we believe it's a real important that you take the time and you work with experts that you come up with your image that's going to be best for you.
Awesome. So we know from studies that people, as you said, Peter, people make a judgment of you within the first 5 to 10 seconds. So attire is a critical piece in terms of whether or not they want to engage with you, how you look, how you sound. So during my research on Adrian Jules, I know there is a wholesale and there's a retail side of things. So which one do you represent?
So we represent the retail part, an aspect of the company, and that we're located in Rochester, New York, and we believe that there's a real need for what we do and how we do it. And we are relocating, and it's going to be open September 9th across the street. So that's a big endeavor that we're doing. And we're going to try to make the whole experience a lot more enjoyable for the client, and he can work with the interactive tables and whatnot so that he comes up with a better feeling of what he is doing and investing in himself. His clothing is an investment.
Awesome. Now go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's good. I'm good.
All right. So what is your position in the company, Peter A?
I'm very fortunate. I get to work with a group of clients. So I help run the retail store on Monroe Avenue and work with clients that are anywhere from, CEOs running billion dollar businesses to people that are getting out of college and getting their first interview soon, and anywhere in between. So we all at the Adrian Jules team on Monroe Avenue, we all get to work with our individual clients, and I help work with the guys, our team there, and help grow the business there.
Okay, so Peter E is the dad, Peter A is the son, right?
It's sort of obvious.
Make sure that I don't mess it up here. E and A. Okay. Yes. All right. Okay. So when did you start, Peter A, with the company?
So I got involved. So we do trade shows around the country every year. Some in Chicago, Las Vegas, and New York City. And my grandfather bought me. We do our buying there, so we'll do also for the upcoming season. So the fall season and the spring season. We'll do all of our buying. And one particular year, I was 14 years old. My grandfather bought me 2 bolts of fabric, a black one and a red one. And he said, this summer I'm going to teach you how to make a suit. So we spent, because all the clothes are still made in Irondequoit. We've got about 60 to 70 tailors there. And he said, this summer I'm going to teach you how to make a suit. So I grew up in the factory and made my first suit and kind of been doing it ever since.
Wow, that's good. And Peter E, when did you get involved with the company?
So my only other job, I had the paper route. So I was in 7th grade. I quit the paper route, and then I started working at the shop, sweeping floors and whatnot, and really understanding how the garments are made, because that's what I was around the whole time. And it was important to find out, and the team of people we have there, the artisans that put it all together, that's the beauty of the garments. A lot of what you don't see is the difference in the garment. It's between the linings and the fabric. And that's the guts of the garment, but that really makes a difference. And I've been at the company since I was, 12 years old?
Wow.
50 years?
Wow. So you've been there a long time. That's
long time.
That's great. I bet you've seen a lot of different changes from that time to now. Has the need been the same when someone comes to you, or in person or online? Has anything changed from back then to now, except for technology?
Well, you know what you do see. There's been a significant amount of changes. Some of it is even the way they make the fabrics. So back then, some of the fabrics we have nowadays, they didn't have the technology even to make that kind of fabric. So there's like Super 200s, there's Vicuna fabrics, there's Super 180s. Back then when I first got into the business, if it was a Super 100, that was the highest fabric they could make. And it's the softness and the crispness and the way, the luxury of how it feels. And that's a big thing. And then some of the styles, you know, we go back and we look at some of the styles. You had the double knits from years and years ago. You have the polyesters. You have the different kind of jackets, the real wide lapels, the real baggy pants, the real high-waisted. You know, a lot of those things were like, oh, they were in style. You look at them now and say, I don't know about that. I don't know what style it was, but it was fun to do and fun to make, but interesting looks and patterns, put it that way.
Did you have back then, was there like the bell bottoms? What was that part of the attire?
Yeah, the bell bottoms, the real wide bell bottoms. I mean, double-breasted suits. I remember my brother and I both having like gray double-breasted suits and with the bell bottoms, and we were wearing sort of like platform shoes with them at the time. I mean, it was just, you know, and the knee-room jackets that you wore, and it's just a different time and place than it is nowadays.
Sure. Your son is probably, he's just dying there.
I'm curious in another 20 years to look back what I wore, if I'm still to be relevant or not.
Exactly. So now the style is more, is it more of a European style? Is that what's?
I think that, you know, our approach is different than, you know, like something that you see off of, you know, or walk into a department store. Whereas we'll cater to the guy's physical attributes and what he wants to wear it for. Like, for example, like right now, everything's super trim, but if a guy walks in and his physical attributes don't warrant that type of fit, we're not necessarily going to fit or we're not necessarily going to put him in that type of garment.
Mm-hmm.
Or, for example, a 25-year-old is not going to wear something that a 70-year-old is wearing. Or a guy that makes stand-up presentations, or a banker, you know, those are two different or multi-different wardrobes. So we ask multiple questions to the client, make sure that his wardrobe, his fabrics, and his fit fulfill his needs, so he's giving the best and proper presentation to the public.
Awesome. So that brings me to now, who is your target market?
So a lot of our target market is, you know, it could be anybody and everybody, you know, from the gentleman or the person going on their first job interview to a gentleman who runs a multi-billion-dollar company. That's, you know, they all range and they all appreciate the types of clothing that we make. And then, you know, a lot of people say, well, everything's business casual. But a lot of our clients say, you know what, business isn't casual. Business is business. So they dress appropriate. They could be in a sport coat, could be in a button-up shirt, you know, could be in a nice pair of slacks, but they want to wear nicer things because they're portrayed a certain way by the way they're dressed.
Awesome. One of the questions here, my dear wife asked, do you make clothes for women?
We do.
We do have some of it in Rochester, and also around the country. We do have predominantly more around the country, but we do some in Rochester as well.
And with the ladies wear, it usually takes like, you know, 3 to 4 fittings on it because every woman is completely different, and the style of the clothes they wear is completely different. They could have a really short dress, a real long dress, a real short coat, a real long coat. You know, the men's are pretty standard. They might be a couple inches different, but the women's clothing are completely different, and their bodies are built, but they have more curves than men.
I was hoping that you would say no just because she asked this question.
Oh, so we really don't do ladies' clothes anymore.
There you go. Thank you so much,
anymore.
Peter. Thank you, because I know what's coming next. Jason says, you guys are incredibly knowledgeable and hilarious. Thanks, Jason. I don't know if that's a compliment, but we'll take it as a compliment. Thank you.
Thank you.
So obviously we are still going through this pandemic, Peter and Peter. How has the pandemic affected your business, if any?
So the pandemic hit, things were shut down. So we sat there and said, okay, we got to reevaluate our business, and let's think about this, and let's think about what's going to happen when we come out of the pandemic. What are people going to be wanting to do? Where are they going to be going? What's going to happen? So Peter and I, and
we did the masks too.
Yep, and we made masks for the pandemic, which was, my brother took care of that, and the team over at Adrian Jules, they made a bunch of masks for the hospitals and whatnot in the city. And then we said, okay, where are we going to go from there? So, some men's stores in Rochester went out of business, but we were not one of them. And we said, okay, there's a need now for more off the rack clothing, one-on-one types of clothing. And so we ended up getting together with our sales team and decided that we're going to expand on that. So we ended up, doing some ready-made jeans and some more polos and some sweaters and to expand on our line right now. A lot of them are custom, but you can come in, you can see what they're going to look like, and then we develop them for you and what's going to be the best look on your body, because we've done a lot of training ourselves to find out what's the best model to put on each person's body so that they come up with the best look that they should have. So we sat down and decided we got to do, we're going to sit with our clients one-on-one, and then from there, come up with certain products that are going to be best for them.
So do you, let's say someone is interested in some of your clothing, custom made. What is the process from beginning to end?
So that's a great question. So, we basically will sit down with the client. We'll take them through a series of questions, and through those questions, we've got a ton of fabrics to choose from. But through those questions, we'll narrow down fabrics that he or we suggest to them. And then we'll take a bunch of different measurements. We'll then draw up their own personal pattern in our factory. The garment will be made in our factory, and we will, depending on the person's fit, we'll either do a scrap try-on, which is basically not even out of their actual fabric. It's a scrap try-on. We pin them up and chalk them up and make any adjustments that we need to do to their pattern based on just how the scrap try-on fits. And then 3 to 4 weeks after that, we will do a fitting on their actual fabric. And then 2 weeks after that, they'll get their garment.
Okay. So the whole process from beginning to end, average time would be how long then?
About 6 to 7 weeks. 6 to
7 weeks. Okay.
For first go around. Once we have your pattern, we essentially, like during the pandemic, we were very fortunate because we've built strong relationships with our clients, and we have all their patterns on file. So essentially, we could essentially do Zoom calls or FaceTimes and go through their wardrobe with them because we have the pattern on file. They could pick through swatches, and we could make up their garment in the factory and send it essentially anywhere, not only in the country but in the world.
Oh wow!
So yeah, once we have your pattern on file, it then becomes very easy to order garments anywhere.
Okay. So for the new person, though, you'll need to create a file for them.
We would create their own pattern. Yes.
Correct. But so with any new person or anybody, every fabric you have, Patrick, would come in your size. We just got to find out which ones are going to be best for your body type and what you want the clothing to do.
Okay. So how would you fit me then? What do I need to do to come in? Maybe to get a shirt, a suit. What's the process?
So we would love for you to come in. Yes. Yeah, so our new showroom we kind of built it around, we found like in the pandemic that a lot of guys we found were, almost instead of, they were hanging around the showroom a lot. So that client experience was so important. So we built, not in our new showroom, we built amongst other things, but we've got a whole new bar in there, a coffee bar, a regular bar. We've got interactive tables and big screen TV. So it's kind of built around this whole client experience, because we found clients were staying there longer than, 15, 20 minutes. They were actually hanging out there because they had more free time. So so that would be part of the thing. You'd come into the showroom, you hang out, and we'd pick out fabrics, and it's more of the experience and the whole lifestyle of the Adrian Jules experience than actually going into the store and picking out a couple fabrics and leaving. So yeah, we'd love to have you in it.
Awesome.
We like, you sit down and really get to know what you want the clothing to do. So it's a process, and we set up an appointment. Everyone set up an appointment. It's usually between, an hour, say 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. The measuring takes 15 minutes, but finding out what's going to be best for you, that's the key. And it's not just the color of the fabric. It's really finding out, do you want to be more approachable when people come up and see you? Or are you going to make presentations? Or are you giving out awards? What do you want the clothing to do? And that has to do with the silhouette that we put on you. And it's not just the fabrics. Oh, it's a tan, it's a blue, it's a black. No, there's more to that. And then there's subtle things that and when you come across, the people are gonna feel more approachable. And we ask our clients, do you want to dress for compliments or do you want to dress for power?
Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
So there's a difference. We know there's a big difference. And a lot of people, like you said, it's like, well, wow, I never thought about that. But that's really important. And you got to let us know where you want to go. And the questions tell us, and, through the knowledge we've been doing this all these years, we come up with a solution that best fits your needs.
Okay.
And that's what it's all about, is filling the client's needs.
So you're more of a solution-based model.
Correct.
Okay, great. So let's say someone is in the UK. I have my family. I'm from Barbados. I have some family there. My uncle is a fashionista. So let's say he's interested in getting a suit. Of course, he's not going to fly over here, but what would be the process for someone internationally?
So we've got an algorithm that basically will analyze the patterns that we have. So we've got thousands of patterns in our database. So basically, through a series of questions that we ask clients, or ask, say I was going through this virtually, whether it's somebody outside the country or in Florida that I never met before. We'd take them through a series of questions. And through those questions, we're basically able to come up with, based on the patterns, all the patterns that we've got on file in our database. We're basically able to come up with a scrap try-on that's relatively close. It's not going to be perfect, but through that, we ship them we will send them that try-on, and then we'll do a FaceTime, and then that try-on will be relatively close, but we're able to modify the pattern from that try-on. So when he goes and he tries on the pants, and he's like, oh, these pants are actually really close, but I like to take in the waist a little bit, or I want to give me a little bit more room, or whatever it is. We then will modify his pattern from there to cut his actual fabrics. And it is from doing the pandemic, we've actually surprisingly have got a very high success rate on this.
That's
because
awesome.
We're doing that scrap trying.
That's great. That's great. So you've seen some growth even during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're able to capture more of a market without actually traveling.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now you mentioned that you are having a new showroom coming on board soon. And before you say anything about that, Peter, I love that tie. It's a great looking tie.
Thank you.
I'm going to put that on my Christmas list.
I'll put it aside for you.
All right. So let's talk about this fantastic showroom that you are about to open up.
Okay, so the showroom. So we believe that we have one of the nicest showrooms in Rochester right now. And we sat there and said, okay, how do we make it better? How do we make it a better experience for our clients and what they expect and what they want to do and what they're gonna, when they come in, what they want to achieve through the clothing. So we did a lot of research. We went around the country, or we've been, on trips or whatever, and we look at other men's stores and other boutiques and say, okay, this is a nice idea. This is a nice idea. And then we sat down with our team at Adrian Jules and a whole design team. And what they do, they curate showrooms all around the country all the time. And it was a lengthy process, and they gave us a ton of different ideas, yes or no, yes or no. And then we come back and we came out with a good idea. This is the starting point. Then they would come back and say, well, what about this idea? Another good idea. Well, what about that idea? Another good idea. And all those ideas add up. But the end result is that we believe it's going to be one of the nicest showrooms in the country, that people, clients can come in, they can fly into our airport, they can take a private jet, they can come right over to our place and be in and out within a couple hours instead of going to like New York City. You fly in, then it takes an hour to get into the city and back. But what they're going to see is that they come in, we have interactive tables that, you can swipe on the table, you can look at all the different shoe designs, you can look at all the coat designs, you can look at all the different fabrics, and then they can understand that this is all different styles and patterns that they're able to see and achieve and understand and can wear. It's been a process and a lot of those undertakings that Peter's been doing, a lot of those high-tech things and the techie things, it's a little past me, but I'm working.
Yeah, we're super grateful for the team that we've got that helped us out with, the build out, designing the new showroom, and also the team that we've got over at the factory, and also the team over at Monroe Avenue. Everyone's input has really played a crucial point in how we've designed the new showroom. So we're very excited about it, and I think it's going to be another focal point in the Rochester community, and we love also, a bigger space that we could also give back and host different events to help give back to the community too.
Awesome.
And we believe that, Rochester, we've been fortunate to be in Rochester. The whole show has been done by a committee, but we believe that it's really what you give back to the community and what you can do for other people around the community. And we believe that, we try to give donations or whatever we can for many, many organizations throughout the committee. Our accountants really don't love it that we give that much, we give back that much, but I believe, and it's always been something that, it struck me when I was young and I first got into the business, being a Rotarian, is that you got to give back. And that's what it's all about, is giving back. And, the faith that we have and, family and our health, those are the important things. Everything else you can work on. But it's those three things that really drive the company and I think it helps the community. We try to do as much as we can for each and every one in our community.
That's awesome. Yeah, now you're talking my language now in terms of the importance of giving, because I always say if you take a fist and if you have a closed fist, nothing comes in, right? But if you open it up, now you're giving and other things come back.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a good analogy there. Very good. Yeah, but it's all about, we believe that's very important. I mean, just this year we've had, we had a car show for Gigi's Playhouse. We've been associated with the Center for Youth. We've given, I know, many, many gift certificates throughout the organization and throughout the city, so that we believe that that's what you need to do. That's what you should do. If you can, you should.
That's great. That's why you guys are so blessed. That's why your family's so blessed, because of giving. You're giving family. So continue blessings on that. Let's have some fun. I can go on and on talking about custom clothing. I don't have any yet, but I'm hoping now that my dear wife, she's watching, she may think about something. Christmas gift, that wonderful tie. Just planting seeds, guys. Just planting seeds.
Planting seeds.
I get it.
So let's have some fun.
Okay.
Well, but before I do that, how many employees are there at the Irondequoit in terms of the location where the clothes are made?
In Irondequoit, there's around 75 employees, and then we got about 10 over at Monroe Avenue. So it's about 85 total.
Okay. All right. Wow. That's great. That's great. And what is the most expensive suit custom made that you've made for someone? It's probably Bill that you made it for, but that's okay. What's the most expensive suit?
Most expensive suit.
I'm not answering that one.
They can get expensive, that's for sure. But we did have one client say that one of Peter's clients came in, he says, well, we heard about this vicuna and whatnot, and they were talking about it in Dubai, and he goes, those are really expensive. Well, I can get, yours are a deal compared to those over there. So he was watching it on TV, a late night television show, and he goes, they were talking about the price. He goes, me. I had to come over and talk to you guys and say how inexpensive yours are compared to those. But there, we do have some expensive garments, but the ones that are that pricey or costly, they're like one-offs. It's like the guy who gets that real special bottle of wine,
Yeah.
or the watch that we make 30 of, and
Sure.
so they're unique. You can't really get it, and they're not for everybody, but they're special. And we're one of the only ones in the country that can really make those garments because of the way we make them. It's important. It's what, like I said before, it's what you don't see.
That's great. I passed down Monroe Avenue and I see your store there. I knew about the one in Irondequoit because years back you did some things for the Buffalo Bills and made some of their suits. So I've always seen, but I've never ventured in. So thank you for this opportunity. Let's see what we call 2 minutes of rapid fire. So I'm going to throw you some questions here so that our viewers can get to know you, kind of have a little fun, little light discussion.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
I'm up for anything.
Ready?
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. Soda or pop?
I've never had either one of them.
I gave up drinking soda and pop last year, so I don't drink either.
Okay.
I used to.
But if you did, what would you call it? Soda or pop?
Oh, what would I call
pop?
Yeah.
I call it pop.
Pop. Okay, so that's more upstate. Downstate is soda.
Yep.
All right. What is your favorite food?
Mine's Italian because my wife owns Rubino's Italian food. So
Oh, wow.
Italian.
Okay.
I gotta say that. It's Italian.
Hey, that's a nice plug.
Mine's Italian.
All right.
Steak with crumbly blue on top.
Okay. All right. Your favorite song?
My wedding song, Endless Love.
Endless Love?
Mine would probably be anything from Earth, Wind, and Fire. The band Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Peter, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Elements. Check you out.
Yep.
September,
yep.
Yeah.
Good song,
Nice.
fantasy, they're all good. Yep.
All right. We have something in common. This is good.
Yep.
Favorite movie, guys?
Mine's Hitch by Will Smith. Hitch.
Love that.
I don't know if I got one. I don't know that one answer. I don't know.
Hitch, I had the DVD.
Oh, okay.
Great movie. Favorite place to vacation?
Italy.
Okay.
Anywhere with my wife and family.
All right. That's good. That's good. Wise man. I'm learning. I'm taking notes.
He stole that from me.
Last one. What's the last leadership book you've read?
The last book I read, I reread The Secret, but anything by John Maxwell is gold in my book.
We're here. We are here.
I just finished reading the book Winning, and then Extreme Ownership I read.
Okay.
Winning by Tom Grover. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw this out as a bonus. What would be, if you were to say something about your leadership style, because part of the show is about leadership, how would you describe in one word your leadership style?
Passion.
Passion. Okay.
I would say influence.
Influence. John Maxwell. Leadership is influence. I like it. Smart man. Smart man. You're going.
And what would yours be, Patrick? What would yours be?
Mine would be influence as well. I love John Maxwell. He talks about leadership is about influence, not about authority. Right? And always in the other piece, in terms of leadership, leaders lead. It's not so much about you, it's about your team.
Yeah.
So the great Jack Welch says, before you were a leader, it was all about you. When you become a leader of people, it's no longer about you, it's about them.
Correct.
Amen.
So, all right, gents, we have come to the end. I want to thank you so very much. This was fantastic. Awesome. You are welcome to come on to 30 anytime. Just send me an email. Maybe we can do this down the road after your showcase, come on board and you want to come back and chat, you're more than welcome. You have an open invitation.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Patrick.
so much,
This has been
Patrick.
extremely fun, and you made it a good time. Very nice. Thank you.
All right. Blessings to you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you,
also.
Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we've been talking with Peter A. and Peter E. Roberti of the Adrian Jules family when we talked about custom clothing. So make sure that you go out and visit their website. I have that up in our notification. I'll also throw it in the comments for you. Give them a call. If you are in Rochester, drop by, make sure that you see them. Custom clothing at its best. As you heard, they are all involved with giving back. So make sure that we support them. The more they give, the more they'll get. So I want to thank them. I want to thank Bill for setting this up. And I want to thank you, the viewers. I want to thank you for being here. You are so awesome. You come in every Thursday, and I want to thank you for just supporting the 30. Remember, join the Jackman Group community. You can go to jackmangroupllc.com. Make sure that you are part of our community. We would love to have you being a part of our group. Now, if you would like to be a sponsor, we are giving you the opportunity to be a sponsor of the 30. If you want to be a sponsor of the 30, meaning you're actually sponsoring the show, whether you are a business, an organization, or individual, and you would like to sponsor this show going forward, you can email us. Email us at info@jackmangroupllc.com. That's info@jackmangroupllc.com. If you would like to be a sponsor of the 30, we're going to give that opportunity, and we're going to open it up, and we are looking for some like-minded individuals who would like to sponsor this particular program going forward. So give me a call, send me an email, and then we can chat about sponsorship opportunities for the 30. All right, that is it. We will see you next week. Thanks once again. Thanks for the Adrian Jules crew for coming in, Peter and Peter, father and son on the retail side. Make sure that you look for them. Look for the showroom if you're in Rochester. If you are national or international, you can always check them out on the website. Until next week, we will have some additional guests coming in to talk about either leadership, business, entrepreneurship. Until then, to you and your family, be blessed. May God bless you and your family, and be safe. Peace.